I drew for 30 days straight. Do I regret it? Not really. Am I tired though? Yes. I have been drawing for 23 years, since I was 4 years old. But I'm throwing as many skills as I can out the window to start from scratch, because I want to learn with you during this epic art bootcamp. The main question of this challenge is, if you draw every day, does it really help you grow? I spend 10 days each on a fundamental of art. These lists differ wherever you look, so I made my own. Form, perspective, line, value, light, color, anatomy, expressions, clothing, and finally, character design. But since this is the 30-day mark, we only go over form, perspective, and line. We will slowly go through each fundamental, so make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can keep up with this challenge with me. 30 days alone has helped me to such an insane degree. Imagine what will happen in the next 70 days for both me and you. Enough with the small talk, let's get started. Day 1 through 10 is all about form. From drawpaintacademy.com, Dan Scott says, form and structure refer to the use of visual elements to convey three-dimensional objects on a flat surface. This could be done through methods such as shading, contrast, or contour drawing. In other words, form is the basic shapes that make up everything we see around us. My favorite analogy for this would be using a banana. So don't you dare think of it as a banana. It is just a bunch of shapes, light, color, and shadow that makes it look like a banana. If you think of everything as a basic shape, you can draw anything from a reference. It's a superpower I learned when I took my first college-level drawing class, and I will never forget that professor, and I thank her to this day, even though I pouted the whole time I was in there. She knew what she was doing. My first two pieces were fully rendered because I have no idea how to pace myself. At the time, I was super proud of these. I mean, the landscape is pretty cool, but the first one, I don't know. You might think this looks good, but after 30 days of doing this and looking back, there is a lot to be desired. It's always important when you're doing challenges like this or working on improving to look back and see how much you've grown. The next 8 days, I stuck to line and simple grayscale shading because now I know I need to pace myself if I was going to make it to 100 days. I draw really slowly. It takes me about 6 to 8 hours to finish a fully rendered piece. Remember when I did those color picker challenges every day from November to February, especially if you were with me on TikTok? Yeah, 8 hours a day, every day, on top of working a full-time job and being a mom. Yeah, no, I know I'm insane. Just don't worry too much about it. I tried very hard to focus on using my references as much as possible, trying to avoid gravitating towards my usual art style. This is because your art teachers were right. You gotta learn how to draw from reality before you learn to draw in a specific style. Learn the rules before you break them and all that. My personal favorites from these 10 days was this piece, and this piece. They definitely aren't portfolio ready, but I do like how they match the references, which is kind of the whole point of these first 10 days. That and practicing basic shapes in your references, of course. Day 11 through 20 is all about perspective, aka my Achilles heel. I avoided perspective and anatomy until recently, pretty much the entire time I've been drawing. Why? Because it's scary, that's why. I'm sure some of you are in the same boat as me. So I had to do a ton of research before drawing. I learned most from two videos, so Cat's Box video and Dan Beardshaw's video on spheres and organic shape. Both of those videos will be linked below. Perspective makes you think outside the box by drawing boxes. Ironic, isn't it? That's why most of these pieces from this part of the challenge are just shapes. Lots and lots of shapes. I started with boxes, like I literally drew 100 boxes in all angles. It took me hours to do and I didn't think I'd get it done in one day, but I did finally get the boxes down. Then I learned how to draw rectangles, and after rectangles came cylinders, and then spheres, and then finally organic shapes. I think I found a great formula going from basic shapes to people, so make sure you jot that down if you want to do this challenge with me. I also dabbled in basic anatomy using this site. I did this because if I were to start using this perspective-y shapes to make the human body, I had to understand roughly how a human body is proportioned. Your girl has her bachelor's in fine arts and graphic design, so I definitely learned this at some point, but I did do indeed a forgore. Keep in mind, anatomy gets a lot more complicated than this, and I'll be doing a video dedicated dedicated to anatomy later on. Now that I have basic human anatomy down, I decided to get to work. I created a few bases as practice without any reference, mind you. Then I grabbed one of the bases I liked and made a cute little line art piece. The last 2 pieces of perspective was my time to shine. I wanted to see how far I've gone after learning the fundamental I've avoided for almost 23 years. The whole 23 years I've been drawing. And honestly, I was surprised. So the first one I just used my own style. I wanted to have a character facing the camera, looking up all moody-like. But most importantly, I wanted to get the legs right. Because of the way she's sitting, the knees and calves should appear closer to the viewer than the rest of the body. I also had to tackle head angles. I suck at drawing heads looking up. I mean, honestly, it's hard. Maybe it's just me. I tried my best, but it still looks a bit off. As you saw during my sketching process, there are a lot of redraws to get the base right. It really wasn't my day that day. Either way, I am not the happiest at how it turned out, but I do like the lighting and the colors. Now this one I am super proud of. Day 20, I ditched my usual style because this one was a commission from a friend for his crush's birthday. I couldn't help being a wingman for my buddy, so this had to look the best I could possibly make it. So yeah, we are doing a Pokemon fan art commission for the last day of our perspective work. I utilized all the skills I learned from these past few days, and I got a good perspective grid down and worked on the background first. I wanted this piece to feel cozy, realistic, and homey, so lots of clutter based off of the things my commissioner's crush liked were placed throughout the piece. It can't be a Pokemon commission without a partner Pokemon, of course. So I made sure to include Gliscor, her favorite Pokemon, sleeping lazily on the couch. I created the main character last, even though she is the focal point, because I wanted the environment to be solid first. I finally shaded everything using a multiply layer to both save time and to have a unified feel for the piece. The main character is sitting on the couch, leaning forward, trying to concentrate on a video game. She's playing on her Nintendo Switch, so I would assume Pokemon. Talk about a fourth wall break. Gliscor is snoozing lazily on the couch, and her room is lit up by small lights to give the vibe that it's late at night, and also the lighting from the TV, of course. Honestly, I love the way this turned out so much, and I was so impressed that I made that. This is the final stretch, the last 10 days of our 30-day challenge for today. These last 10 days are focused on line. If you don't know, there are a lot of types of line. There's straight or curved, thick or thin, horizontal or vertical, and broken or continuous. Also, there's soft or hard, light or dark, but don't forget things like perspective lines, grid lines, hatching and cross-hatching, contour lines, and imaginary lines that point to a focal point. So that's a lot of lines. With all that knowledge gained, I have a confession to make. I love line art. Line is my favorite part of the art process. However, I was still determined to improve. I first tried out different brushes, and honestly, I was surprised at how much your art style changes from the brush you use alone. It was a quick, fun exercise that I so desperately needed. The next pieces were all line art. No shading or color at all because I wanted to focus on the topic at hand. Line. I've probably said line way too much at this point in the video. I deviated a tiny bit during this part. I wanted to get a tiny bit of anatomy down again, but this time I wanted to do a quick study on proportions for different ages and head angles. If you don't remember, I struggle with head angles a lot, so I desperately needed that study to continue this challenge. I can't refuse a cute magical fairy girl, so I drew that first, using the perspective skills I learned from day 11 through 20. I swear, doing the 100 days of drawing challenge like this, where we work on a fundamental for each 10 days, was pretty smart on my part. This way, we can stack the skills that we've learned from the past videos onto the drawings that you're currently working on. I also drew a cute girl holding a cell phone because I can't resist that fourth wall break. I also tackled a more perspective heavy piece. It's giving first date vibes. The next day I focused on a more of a comic style with a cute creature and wait, what is that? A man? I never draw those. And then I drew a cozy scene of a girl getting mad at a text and the teddy bear's in on it. The last 3 pieces while focusing on line are, you guessed it, fully rendered. Again, I had to see what I could do with these new skills. During this time working on my most experienced fundamental, I actually did see an improvement between my line weight and the stability of my lines and using thick and thin lines to outline my pieces. This piece is giving magical vibes, but in more of like a cozy, intimate way. This woman in a simple dress and long flowing hair has stumbled upon a sphere of glowing light. Maybe it's a power source or an important item in the story. It feels like all she can focus on is that light. Honestly, I feel like I could have made the hair have a little bit of a better shape, because I could have used that hair to my advantage to create a good silhouette. Either way, lesson learned. I then proceeded to draw a cute girl, because I always draw cute girls. I don't know why you'd be surprised. She's looking up at something she adores. Maybe it's window shopping and something beautiful caught her eye? Or maybe she's looking at her significant other, adoring their beauty. This one was pretty fast compared to my other pieces because I utilized the symmetry tool in Procreate. I don't know, her pink dress and her big brown eyes are just so freaking cute, I can't handle it. So this was the last piece of our 30-day challenge. I dare say it's better than the Pokemon fan art commission, but you tell me down in the comments. I wanted to draw a cute little creature. It's giving Disney princess sidekick vibes. I love his big eyes and cute little horns and wings. The cutest little dragon I've ever seen, to be completely honest. Honestly, I don't know what happened to make this piece look so, I don't know, polished? Maybe it's the multiply layer I used, or maybe the colors I chose for the shading and body. It could be the shadow casting from the creature. I don't know, but I'm desperate for someone on TikTok or whatever, because I will be posting these on TikTok and Instagram to shout, AI! One of these days I'll get the accusation, and I have so many devious plans for that commenter. So that's 30 days of drawing every single day. And there's 70 more days to go. I don't know how I'm going to manage it, but I'm determined to complete this challenge with all of you. We still have to tackle value, light, color, anatomy, expressions, clothing, and character design. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you get notified when I post a video like this. Also, since you managed to make it to the end, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps me grow as a content creator when more people can see this video. Anyway, you are doing absolutely amazing. I believe in you, and I think you can do amazing things. See you next week.